Check 1 2. Hello, welcome to Film Reviews. Today's review is Taxi Driver. Yes, Taxi Driver. I know it's an old movie, but this is the first time I've watched it. I've heard it talked about many, many times. And let me change the microphone setup. There we go. Did a little mic adjustment. That's what that sound was. Taxi Driver. It's one of the first films that Martin Scorsese made, starring Robert De Niro as the lead actor. This movie is considered one of the greatest of all time, I guess. I don't know. Hollywood really likes it. But I'm going to give you my opinion as a person who's seen it for the first time and just looks at it as a movie. So the story goes, Robert De Niro is a war veteran living in New York City, and he's looking for a job. There's not a lot of backstory, but he does do a voiceover throughout the film describing what he is doing every day, almost every day. He has a journal. He writes down kind of certain events, things he's thinking about. There's moments in the movie where he tries to go on a date. That doesn't go well. He does a number of things. By the way, this review has spoilers. Since it's an old movie, that's just what's going to happen. So, throughout the film, you see the main character just try to blend into society. He's going to see some films that are not exactly family friendly, and he's just trying to connect. He's trying to find a girlfriend. He feels bad. He doesn't really like doing the taxi job. He meets a lot of disgusting people, disturbing people, and it just makes him dislike humanity. And in some ways, it's really relatable up to a certain point. I think everyone who works somewhere with a lot of people just kind of feels depressed after a while, because you really get to see what society is like and how things are going, and most of the time things are kind of rough. A lot of people there's a lot of different kind of people out there, and a lot of people are doing the bad stuff, and they just don't care. And the main character, Robert De Niro's character, is a guy. He's trying to be nice. He's trying to do the right thing. But he ends up getting really depressed, buys a gun, and let's just say some gunfire happens. He meets the... a lot of things happen in this film. I don't want to describe every single scene, but I will talk a little bit about the technical aspects. I thought it was interesting how the movie was shot. There was moments where the camera was moving. The music was pretty good, very good, I would say. Bernard Herrmann, I believe, did the soundtrack to this. The location was New York City during the 70s, I think. I think it was the 70s, not the 80s. 70s. And it had a very distinct look, very distinct style. The story is really unique and surprising watching it in 2019, which is the date this is recorded. The movie still seems like a story that you would see in the movie theater now, today, and there are people like the main character still today, and it's scary, it's disturbing, it's killers who... This movie kind of, to me, the message is when you're shut out of society, even in the United States, you can kind of go crazy, and it kind of shows the psychological effect of somebody who is trying to fit in, trying to do the right thing, but is not connecting well with other people. and other people have the right to not help this person. And the effect of that is this guy just kind of lashes out. He has a psychological problem, and he thinks the way to fix it is to kill people. I think this movie, there's a lot of backstory that isn't told, but it really does show a character that needs help and the problem that can happen if the person isn't helped. For that reason, I think it's a really well-made movie and a story that's dark but is, I guess, important in some ways to see how someone can do something really bad, really violent, as a result of, being this just not fitting in to society. Now, I wouldn't say, to me, it's not my favorite film. To me, it's not like a classic movie. It's not like, I wouldn't put it up there with Citizen Kane or The Wizard of Oz, or to me, Lord of the Rings is up on some of the best films ever made. But I think it's a solid movie, a really good movie. I don't see how I unless I was an actor, I would watch it a lot, like many, many times, but just seeing it once is good enough for me. I'm going to give this a solid 8.73 out of 10. It's worth watching at least once. It's a very dark film, though. It is a very dark film. But thank you for listening. If you have a movie you'd like to suggest to be reviewed, let me know, and I'll try to track it down.